In the Edwin V. Johnson newsroom, this is Nell Fitz.
And good morning and welcome in. It is currently 70 degrees in downtown Haverhill. 83 degrees is going to be our high, and it's going to be sunny today. It's 8:15. And here on Breakfast with Win, we have a guest this morning, Jenny Arndt. And Jenny is with Haverhill Promise, a literacy program, and it's to help kids read. And Jenny, good morning and welcome in.
Good morning. Thanks for having me, Win.
Oh, it's my pleasure to have you here. And tell us what Haverhill Promise is all about. We've had it on the news, but I want to hear it from you.
Sure, yeah. Haverhill Promise is about an 18-month-old initiative that was begun by Representative Andy Vargas. And what it really is a partnership. It's a cross-sector collaboration, really, between the school system, the city, the Chamber of Commerce, nonprofit organizations like the Mount Washington Alliance, daycare providers, healthcare providers, and really any community members and partners that want to get involved in helping kids reach grade level reading by the end of third grade.
By the end of third grade, okay.
Yes.
And so there must be some statistics out there that show that the levels aren't to where they should be.
That's correct. Yeah, actually, across the nation, 80% of economically challenged students are not reading at grade level by that important benchmark. And the reason we look to that benchmark is if kids aren't caught up with their literacy by that point, they're 4 times more likely to drop out of school.
Oh, wow. That's a big number right there.
It sure is.
Yeah. Because everybody everybody wants to have kids graduate from high school, but they don't count the dropouts.
Exactly. And we know, especially in Haverhill, I grew up in Haverhill. I've been here my whole life, and people don't leave. So if we are able to do this important work and invest in our children now, these are the same people that are going to grow into either contributing members of society or the other.
Hey, today happens to be National Book Lovers Day.
Oh, really? I did not know that.
It's the anniversary of when Henry David Thoreau published Walden.
Okay.
And I'm not sure about Dr. Seuss and Cat in the Hat, but yeah. How do you go about and help kids improve their reading skills?
Well, there's 3 main priorities that have been identified, and these are priorities that have been identified on the national level. There's actually a national campaign for grade level reading, and we've adopted them as our own. And so the areas that we're focused on are school attendance, summer learning, and school readiness. And so I can elaborate on those if you'd like.
Oh, yeah.
So obviously school attendance is huge. If kids are not in school, they are not going to learn to read. And we do have an issue of chronic absenteeism across the country and definitely here in Haverhill. And some of those reasons that kids aren't going to school could be health related. They may have chronic health issues like asthma or allergies, things that are not being treated that are keeping them from going to school. For some families, they just don't realize that missing 2 days a month of school is missing a significant amount of the school year. The day after kids get back to school is actually another day where there's learning loss because they're trying to catch up for the day that they missed. So you can really look at one absence as almost like 2 absences. So that's a huge one. That's one where we're working with healthcare providers to make sure that kids have their needs are getting met so that they can attend school. It also can be a transportation issue for some families, so we're thinking about those concerns. So that's the attendance piece, which we've already seen improvement on in just the last school year before I got hired. I don't have that official number. We're going to be announcing that later in the month. But we have seen a decrease in chronic absenteeism already just by talking about this issue and making people aware that they need to send their kids to school. So that's huge.
That makes a lot of sense right there, yeah.
Yeah. And then the readiness piece is expanding early preschool options for children in the city, making sure that families have the ability to send their kids to preschool so that they'll be ready for kindergarten and then, of course, ready for first grade. The school district has done a great job of being able to provide full-day kindergarten for free for the whole city, so we're hoping that more kids will attend kindergarten this year, which is very exciting. And then that piece is helping people understand that literacy starts at birth. And actually from 0 to 3 years is where most of your early literacy skills are developed. And so families need to understand that they just need to be talking to their kids, reading to their kids, singing to their kids. More language in the home is what prepares them to be ready for school and ready to read. So that's a little bit about that piece. And then finally we have summer learning or out of school learning time. And we know that some children lose up to 2 months of reading progress just by being on summer break and not practicing the skills that they've been using all year. And so a big piece of that is making sure that kids have books in their homes that they can be reading over the summer. And then, of course, expanding programs, summer camps, things where kids can be practicing those skills during the summer. So we work with a lot of different providers of those services, like the Boys and Girls Club, the YMCA, and other groups that are providing that, to see how we can get more kids enrolled in those programs.
Oh, wow. Now, you must have, of course, everything revolves around money. You must have some fundraisers planned.
We do. We're lucky enough to have the Maddox Foundation behind us, which is fantastic. So the Maddox Foundation has agreed to fund my position, which we had some research students last summer that looked at other programs around the country to see which ones were having the most success, and they all involved having an executive director, someone kind of leading the charge and keeping everyone on the same page and on task. And so that's where they decided to hire me. And so I'm funded for 3 years, which is fantastic. But after this first year, I think we're going to kick into fundraising mode and really make sure that we can sustain this work, because it really takes about 10 years to see any real results when you're talking about making big strides in grade level literacy in your city. Oh, sure.
It takes some time. I remember there was somebody who once said that the books you don't read won't help you.
That's very true.
Yeah. So it's all about reading. And now when you say that young parents should be reading to their children or talking to their children, should they have like a book in front of them when they do that? And
honestly, some of it is just having conversations. And so there have been, I know that Springfield and some other cities have implemented programs where they're just encouraging families to talk more, to turn the TV off and have actual face-to-face conversations is major. And then, of course, reading books, pointing to the words as you're reading them is huge for kids. Songs, anything involving music and language is what's going to get these little ones ready to read.
We're talking with Jenny Arndt. She's with Haverhill Promise, the executive director of that, a literacy program to help kids get up to grade level reading by third grade. And that's the key grade, right, at the end of third grade?
It is, yeah. That's the benchmark that's generally used across the country when we're talking about literacy. If kids aren't caught up by that point, as I said earlier, they're much, much more likely to drop out of school. And we know what happens from there.
Nothing good.
Nothing good.
Yeah. How about that? All right. Now, I remember we've had some stories about like little libraries.
Yes.
Yeah. And so are there a bunch of those around?
There are. This is one of my favorite parts of the job, is that really anyone can get involved in this work. You don't have to be an educator. You don't have to be a parent even. If you're interested in just helping get books into families' homes, you can set up something like a little free library, which is kind of a trend that's catching on, all over the place. And you just set up these little small little cases outside of your home that you supply with books, and neighborhood kids that walk by can take a book, or other neighbors that have books to donate can put them in, and it's really great. It really gives families access to books in some of these neighborhoods where maybe they can't get to the library or they can't get to Barnes and Noble. And those have been really fun and a really nice way to just remind people about the importance of reading around the city.
Now, do you work with the library?
We do. The library is one of our core partners in this initiative. We're very pleased. They've seen an increase in summer reading participation this year, which is fantastic. And Man, they have some incredible programs. I really hope that people have been paying attention because, getting hired for this initiative, I definitely made it a priority to spend more time at the library this summer with my daughter. And we were just so blown away by the quality of programming and the sheer number of programs that the library has to offer. It was great. Now,
you mentioned the YMCA and places like that. They do have their own mini libraries there, too?
The YMCA in particular, they help readers in the city on an even more major level. They do always have books at their programs, as do most of the children's programs in the city. But the YMCA has actually taken on a summer readers program. So they've identified the students in the city that are 6 months or more behind on their reading, and they get to go to a free program during the summer over at the Hunking School run by the YMCA, where they get 3 hours of intensive reading help in a classroom setting, and then in the afternoon they get to go to Camp Trickle Falls and do the recreation piece of it, and it has been a huge success.
Oh, wow.
Yes, they've gone from actually about 16 participants last year to almost 60 this year.
Oh, wow. So with the beginning of school, you're going to get even busier, aren't you?
I am, yes. Yes, when I got hired, I forgot to tell them that I'm actually taking a vacation to California the first week of school. But as soon as I get back, we'll be jumping right back into this work.
Of course, your daughter's not going to miss any school, is she?
Absolutely
not. You're going to leave her here while you go, right?
She's not invited.
Well, no. All right. So, again, if somebody wants to get involved with Haverhill Promise, and how should they do that?
Sure. They can reach me via email at team@haverhillpromise.com. Or you can go to our website, haverhillpromise.com, and learn a little bit more about what we're about. Or you can attend our event. It's called the Haverhill Promise Huddle, which is coming up on August 21st at the iHub at Harbor Place. It's going to be at 6:30 that Wednesday. And what we're going to do there, we're calling it a huddle because we really want people to understand that this work is a team effort. And so we're inviting anybody who's interested in this work to get in the same room to hear what's been going on with Haverhill Promise, some progress updates. And then we're inviting people to join working groups around our 3 priorities: attendance, school readiness, and summer reading, and commit to those working groups to helping us really flesh out what we can do to get our students reading at grade level by the end of 3rd grade.
All right. Well, clock is ticking.
It sure is.
Yeah. All right. Well, Jenny, I want to thank you. We'll have to get you back and give us a progress report.
I would love that.
All right. Well, thank you very much. Jenny Arndt, she's with the Haverhill Promise Literacy Program, and our guest this morning here on the WAVE 97.9 WHAV.